Thank you for joining the Alameda County Contractor Technical Assistance District 1 Outreach Workshop. This is absolutely a good investment of your time today because you're going to hear about contracting opportunities with the county and resources that are available to you. I really want to start by introducing a supervisor who's going to give you a welcoming address and just give you a little bit of background. Prior to being elected to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Haubert was most recently mayor of Dublin, where his impact was a balanced city budget. He added 150 new businesses. I would venture to guess a lot of those were small businesses to the city, and he also added community parks and new schools. Supervisor Haubert established a multi-point social justice platform, not something we often see, which was conveying his priorities and values on issues that impact all of Alameda County communities. He's an advocate for diversity in employment and believes that the county's own staff should reflect the diversity of the community. He also believes the county should hire a chief equity officer and advocates for housing equality, justice restoration, court diversion, and using data to track and reduce racial bias in the criminal justice system. The supervisor is also an advocate of effective and impactful implicit bias training. We appreciate the supervisor's genuine interest in understanding the challenges and needs of the local small and minority business community, and he's seeking steps that can be taken to make the county the most conducive contracting partner. So with that, I'd like to introduce Supervisor Haubert.
Wow. Hey, Ingrid, that was amazing. Thank you very much. I'm honored that you would introduce me that way. And I'm honored to be on the call today and really echoing what you just said about me. I want to congratulate everybody for coming to this Zoom event. You're going to hear a lot of great information. And I hope you're ready to take notes because the speakers have a lot to share with you. I'd like to share with you my encouragement and also words from me directly. And the first, as an elected leader, is I have an open door. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, especially if you're a District 1 resident, but even anywhere in Alameda County, I'm here for you. I have an open door, an open mind to listen to what you have to say and open to taking action. I and my staff will advocate and fight for you. So take advantage of that. Secondly, I'd like to say just how important it is to me that we would support small, emerging, local businesses, small, local and emerging businesses, SLEB. I don't know who made that up, but I understand what it means. And as a member of the procurement and contracting committee that I sit on with the chair, my good friend Supervisor Nate Miley, we intend to, just what you said, Ingrid, measure what we have. And if you measure it, you can maximize it. So we're going to be looking at the data closely to see where our contracts are going and how they are faring. But really, it gets down to the people, the individual people who are running organizations. And that's what I'm so excited about, to support small, local, emerging businesses to help them be more successful. And why is that so important? We know that competition is good. We know that growing small businesses and making them stronger is good for everyone. Steel sharpens steel, competition is good. And bringing the best and the brightest forward to bring forward their hard work to make good things happen, to make good projects happen. It will only increase if we build from the grassroots up small businesses to become larger businesses. Now we're going to do that. It's a balancing act, we know, but we're committed to doing it and making sure that working alongside larger businesses, smaller businesses have a seat at the table and have equity at the table and have the ability to make money at the table, because we know that that will make us stronger in the long run. The last thing I'll say is that this is not just give something to somebody for nothing. This is helping businesses to get better. And so I want to challenge everybody to say, bring your best projects to us, bring your best talent to us, bring your best work to us, and success will breed success. And my commitment is that when we see success, we will reinvest in that. And so with that just small, brief introduction, I want to say that we expect a lot from small, local and emerging businesses, but we're here for you and to encourage you. And also I will say, I know it's not easy to be a small business owner. I was one for many years as a consultant. It's not easy to be a small business owner, especially when you have to hire people and all the rules and regulations that we have. That's why we want to support you in becoming stronger, bigger, and better. So with that said, again, open door policy, open to listening to what you have to say, your concerns, and open mind to taking action to support you. My commitment to everybody on this call.
Thank you, Supervisor Haubert. And I'm going to share with the audience something that we were really impressed with and happy about when you asked to have a pre-meeting to talk to some of the contractor community, to hear directly their feedback, their challenges. And I have applauded you for that a few times now, because one, it's atypical, and two, it's just such a strong indication of your commitment, that it's beyond just, giving a perception that you care about small businesses. The fact that you took the time and you listened to their issues and their challenges, asked questions, and are now looking at what changes, if any, the county can make to create the most conducive environment. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I just wanted to share that with the audience so that they know this is not just a dog and pony show, as they like to say, that you're very committed to making sure that the county is a good place to do business with, and you see the value on both sides of the table. The county benefits by having more competition, and more local small businesses involved also creates an economic multiplicative impact that's good for the county. And of course, it's good for small businesses. So thank you again for Supervisor Haubert, not just participating today, but your overall interest. We appreciate it. Point in the program, we're going to hear from county staff who are going to share with you some of the range of contract opportunities that are coming up. And we're going to start by introducing the Chief Director of Operations, Alan Baxter. Alan, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Well, hello, and thank you, Supervisor Haubert, for inviting GSA to present today. My name is Alan Baxter. I'm Chief Deputy Operations for General Service Agency for the County of Alameda. GSA provides a host of logistical support services to county agencies and its partners, including capital project development, facilities maintenance, county fleet operations, energy and environmental management, and procurement services. GSA has an annual budget of $161 million. GSA's operations consist of three major divisions, which include building maintenance, capital programs, and logistical services. So today, my team will present both current and upcoming projects. I'm introducing you today to Keith Rowan. Keith is Deputy Director of Capital Programs. Capital Programs is responsible for all capital improvements, project design, and construction of county building and facilities. It also provides energy management, hazardous materials management, and environmental compliance services. Additionally, I want to introduce you to Douglas Bond. He goes by Doug Bond. Doug's Deputy Director of Building Maintenance. Building maintenance for Alameda County provides full maintenance, repairs, landscaping, janitorial services for over 121 county-owned buildings consisting of 6.3 million square feet. BMD provides maintenance of building structures, including roofing, flooring, wall, ceiling finishes, carpet replacement, general painting, parking lot striping, repairs to doors, windows, building hardware, cabinets, and general carpentry work. So I'll hand off to Keith and Doug now to talk a little bit more about our projects.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Alan said, I'm Keith Rowan, Director of Capital Programs. So I just want to share with you current projects and also just circle back and look at some of the previous projects we've done in Dublin, just to give you a sense of what's on our plate right now. As Alan said, we're responsible for design and construction, in addition to environmental issues as well as energy. So we have a full staff and a lot of responsibility in terms of getting these projects delivered for the county. So if we can go to that first slide. So we've done a number of projects out at Santa Rita Jail that we've already completed, and I'll also tell you about some of the new work we're doing. But since about 2016 to 2020, we've done a number of projects at the jail itself. There've been a combination of building infrastructure projects, as well as construction projects, infrastructure upgrades to the facility, energy projects, ADA upgrades. We continue to do more ADA work as well. Solar projects, condenser water system replacement and upgrades, and HVAC projects. In addition to what we've completed in Dublin, in addition to Santa Rita Jail, we've also done some work for the Regional Training Center. We've done modular classrooms and utility infrastructure. We've also designed and constructed an educational center. And probably one of the most prominent projects that people are aware of is the East County Hall of Justice. And that project was completed in 2017. Now I'll share with you what we're currently working on in the district. Next slide. So we are continuing to do a lot of work at Santa Rita Jail, and I'll get into that detail in a minute. And we're also launching a new fire department training facility in Dublin. That's just getting started. This is an image. There was due to COVID, there wasn't an official groundbreaking, but there was an announcement of the project, and that was just a month or so ago. And then we're also doing a new parking deck in Dublin. It's going to be a parking deck that's right next to the existing parking deck at the BART station. The county owns a parcel next to that. So that's a project that we're also working on. We're very excited about that project. So let me tell you now a little bit more in detail about these three large project categories that we're working on. So at SRJ, we've got 4 projects underway right now in various stages. So we are continuing to do renovations of the inmate housing units to comply with ADA. We've just completed three of the housing units, and then we had to basically stop work because of COVID and social distancing, the issues that the Sheriff's Department had there. So we're restarting that project. And so we have 10 additional inmate housing units that have to be upgraded to meet ADA compliance. And also we're making ADA improvements in the core building. That's the central building at the jail. We're also doing a complete replacement of the infrastructure. We completed a camera project for just a few of the housing units. Now we're going award another contract to do the remaining housing units, and that will be security cameras, security doors, public announcements of the PA system upgrades. So that's going to be an extensive project for the entire facility. We're also in the very early stages of planning the design for a mental health program building, and this is going to be providing mental health services to inmates. This project has started a couple of years ago, but the program has changed, and that program changed required us to relocate the project. So we're basically going back and redesigning the project, and we're just in the very early stages of narrowing down the program. We've had to add more staff. We've had a number of programmatic issues we're dealing with, but that is an up and coming project as well. And that project will be several years before it will actually be constructed. There's a number of programming issues and funding issues that we'll be working through. And as an interim measure, just to get started administratively, we're going to be putting in temporarily modulars. And so we're just launching a feasibility study of where we can locate these modular units on the campus or near the campus of the jail. So That project is at the feasibility stage, and the other projects are in various stages of getting ready to get started. I should point out for the ADA project, we are expecting 2 pre-qualified GCs to bid. We went through a pre-qual process, and we had 3 pre-qualified GCs, and now we're down to 2, and we're expecting those bids on Monday. The next project that I mentioned is the new parking deck out at Dublin. We can just go back to that one. I'm almost done. Out at Dublin, so it's planned to be 500 to 525 new parking spaces. It'll have a convertible ground floor, and we're working very closely with Caltrans and LAFTA. Those are our partners we're working on with that project. That project, we have already pre-qualified 4 design build entities, and we're now getting the RFP finalized, and that'll be issued later in the next quarter. And then finally, the fire department training facility. This is a new project. It's near the site is next to Station 17. It's going to be a brand new training facility for the fire department. We're just launching on this project as well, and it's going to be, the delivery method will be a design build. So that's the quick overview of what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me jump in here. My name is Doug Bond. I'm the Deputy Director of the Building Maintenance Department. And as Alan had said, we have 121 county-owned buildings that we maintain. So we have our janitorial staff, we have our maintenance staff that does everything from painting to electrical, plumbing, all of that. So we maintain the buildings, but there are projects that actually are larger than what is done in-house by that staff. And so one of the mechanisms we use for completing those jobs are through the job order contracting process. And to kind of give an overview of the JOC process, let me talk about that here. We do award individual contracts to prime contractors. And so currently we have 5 prime contracts that have been issued. The pricing for all of those contracts is based off the Gordian construction catalog. The current contract runs from January of this year through the end of 2021 here. So each of the contracts are awarded with, initially they're awarded at $1 million each, and they can be increased up to a max amount of $3 million each for each of those individual contracts. The JOC contracts are obligated to meet the ECOP goals. So one of the things that we've just recently done is we've put together a scorecard system for these contracts to allow for us to look at overall quality of the work that's being done by each of these JOC contractors, but also the ECOP goals and making sure that they're working toward achieving those goals or hopefully exceeding those goals within each of these contracts. The prime contractors basically will reach out to subcontractors and they will look for specialties that can allow for them to achieve each of these project deliveries. So next slide, please. So to talk about a couple of the JOC projects that we've recently completed or have nearing completion, I guess, at this point off the past year's contracts. One of them is on the left there is the picture of the roadway up to the water tower above the Santa Rita jail. And this one here, the asphalt was failing at a number of spots throughout. And so the contractors were asked to go in and basically grind up the asphalt that was in place and pack that down for a base. And then they layered a new roadway above that. So that was one of the projects that we've done. The project on the right is actually, we have a main water line that goes around the perimeter of the Santa Rita jail. And so it's quite extensive with a building that's over 30 years old. So we've had some failures within that water line. So we have a project that is going through in phases to actually replace that water line. So this is phase 1 of the project, and you can see some pictures of the work. Go ahead into the next screen. So to talk about some future projects that we have a large one that's actually coming up that's going to be at the Renee C. Davidson Courthouse. That's the elevator modernization. So we have a total of 5 elevators that are in that building. This is quite a large project. It's going to take multiple years to complete. We are moving forward right now with receiving permission from our board to bid this as a construction project. So we're expecting that to happen here fairly soon, and the bid hopefully will go out in the next couple of months. Looking at some of the other projects that we have that are upcoming, these are ones that we're looking to have delivered through our JOC program. So examples of that is the phase 2 of that underground water main project. We're looking in the current round of contracting. We have housing units within the Santa Rita Jail that we're doing conduit replacements in. We have our steel structure that's over in Dublin, over the fuel station, that needs to be painted. So that's another example of what we'll do through the JOC program. We have the boiler replacement over at the Livermore Veterans Building. That's a county-owned building there as well. The Fairmont Hospital, we actually had a sinkhole that was created by a collapsed storm drain. And so we're having that also replaced as part of this next round of contracts. We do have a carpeting project over in Oakland at the Law Library. At the Fairmont campus in San Leandro, again, we have 5 different roofs that need replacement. So we have that coming up as well. And, you know, the final project that I have here is just our Ashland, our Reach Ashland Youth Center. We have the AMAG card reader replacement project that is being done as well. So a number of different projects. I mean, JOC basically allows us to do anything that is needed within our buildings. And, you know, with the number of buildings we have a large number of projects that come up on an annual basis. So typically we'll have somewhere between 15 and 20 different projects on a given year that come forward that get done through JOC. And then we will have other projects that we will bid out individually that fit into different categories. So let's go to the next slide and, you know, leave some time for potentially some questions for both Keith and myself.
Thank you. Thank you all for the information. Knowing upcoming projects is so critical, especially for small contractors, to kind of have an advanced look ahead so that they can start scoping out potential opportunities that are well suited for them. So at this point in the program, we're going to ask Joan Quillio, who is the Contract Compliance Officer with GSA, to talk a little bit about some of the contract compliance programs, including ECOP and the Project Stabilization Agreement. Joan?
Thanks, Ingrid. I'm going to go ahead and talk today a little bit about some of our business equity and workforce inclusion programs. First, with the the business equity program, GSA implements 2 equity programs that are mandated by the Board of Supervisors. There's the Small Local Emerging Business Program, or SLEB program, that applies to the procurement of goods and services, excluding construction services. And then there's our Enhanced Construction Outreach program that is applied to our construction projects. Today, I'm going to focus mostly on the ECOP. The purpose of the program is really to encourage the participation of local businesses, small and local businesses, minority business enterprises, and women business enterprises in our construction projects. The construction projects over $125,000. You'll hear from Bill Lepere from the Public Works Agency a little bit later about their program, but this Enhanced Construction Outreach program is a GSA program. We establish goals on our projects for the inclusion of these various businesses. There is an overall contracting goal of 60% to local business enterprises and 20% to small local business enterprises. And I will want to qualify that the small local business enterprises must be certified as such. And in the program and the bid specs, we outline what are the acceptable certifying agencies. So the LBE and SBE goals can be satisfied by prime and subcontractors or any combination. We also have subcontracting goals that are of 15% to certified minority-owned businesses and 5% to certified women-owned businesses. Again, these are subcontracting goals, and so prime contractors are required to either meet these goals on our projects or provide the county with satisfactory evidence of having made good faith efforts toward those goals. And again, those good faith efforts are very prescriptive. They're in our spec. We take them seriously, and we evaluate those to determine the responsiveness of a bidder. Next slide, please, Judy. We also have workforce inclusion programs in the county. The one I will be touching on today is our Project Stabilization and Community Benefits Agreement. This is not unique to GSA. This covers all county departments, and it is essentially serves as the countywide project labor agreement. And I'm going to actually read this part because the part of the purpose of this agreement is to promote efficient construction operations, harmony, an adequate supply of skilled craftspeople, peaceful, efficient, and binding procedures for settling labor disputes, and access to quality employment and training opportunities for Alameda County residents. The agreement was negotiated between the County Board of Supervisors and our local Alameda County Building Trades Council and their affiliated unions. For GSA projects, capital construction projects over $1 million, the agreement is applied. And I'll let Bill speak to the public works piece after this. The agreement requires all contractors to sign a letter of assent and an agreement to be bound to the PSCBA for the life of the project. This is, I just want to underscore that this is not a requirement that contractors join the union. The letter of assent does not bind you to the union, it binds you to the agreement. So the agreement actually applies regardless of union status. There's also pre-job meetings that are required before contractors or subs at all tiers start work or enter the job site. This is just to ensure that everyone understands the provisions and everyone's working under the same set of expectations. So on the workforce development side, there are local hire goals that the agreement establishes, where on a craft by craft basis, a minimum of 40% of all labor hours are to be worked by Alameda County residents. And to date, this agreement has provided almost 500,000 hours of work to Alameda County residents. So it's quite significant. It also establishes a goal for disadvantaged resident apprentice workers that they shall work a minimum of 40% of all apprentice hours on the job or on the project. The disadvantaged resident apprentice is someone who is either unemployed at the start of work or is a new apprentice, is a newly sponsored apprentice, or has been in an apprenticeship program for 2 years or less and is a resident of Alameda County. So those are the PSCBA requirements. I just wanted to say a little bit more on the workforce side. The workforce inclusion goals really provide opportunities for Alameda County residents to have access to good paying jobs with benefits, paid on the job training through the apprenticeship program. And it also contributes to closing the pay gap, the gender pay gap for women. So those are the programs that are in place for business equity and workforce inclusion.
Joan, before Bill presents, there is a question in the chat, which I think
I'm sorry.
It's okay, which I think is for Doug, which is, what is the process for contesting bid results that a contractor feels was awarded because of lack of information or believed tampering on the Jocks?
Okay, so I'll try to jump in and answer that. I mean, ultimately, our job contracts are with the prime contractors directly. So we do post for subcontracting opportunities, but those relations between the prime and the subcontractors, they're basically using the bid walks or job walks to work with potential subcontractors that can perform the job, and they're working to get pricing on that side. So there's not really a bid protest side, because the actual relationship between the subs and the prime is direct, and it's not with the county directly that way. Joan, do you have any additional comments on that as well?
In terms of a particular of the protest, I don't think I really have anything to add there. But I will say that that GSA is committed to a fair and transparent process. And when conditions out in the field appear otherwise, our door is open, our phone lines and our emails are open. We are committed to doing whatever within our capacity to work with those contractors to ensure that the process is fair and transparent.
And then, sorry to delay you, Bill, but one more question. Okay, one more question, I think, for Keith. Has the ACFD Training Center been awarded? And if not, when do you anticipate an RFP hitting the street?
For the training facility, we have just started design work. This is going to be a design build as well. So we have awarded the design build design contract to Ross Drulis Cusenberry. They're just getting started. That's going to probably take us until the fall before that the bridging package is done. We've got a lot of site and other feasibility issues we have to address. So I would say that RFP, it'll be a two-step process. So it'll be an RFQ and then an RFP, identify pre-qualified design build entities, and then we'll put an RFP out. So I would say probably third quarter at the earliest. But once those schedules get more refined, we can let more people know about it. But again, we're just getting started on the putting together the design, the bridging documents.
Great, thank you.
Hello, I'm Bill Lepere. I'm with the Public Works Agency. I'm Deputy Director of the agency. We put out about $50 million a year in construction contracts. We do both road and flood control contracts, but I'm just going to focus on District 1 projects that we have upcoming. Go to the next slide. So under the roadway projects, mainly in the East County, we do work on a lot of the unincorporated roads, Vasco Road, Stanley Boulevard, a lot of the unincorporated roads out in the East County. Let's go to the next slide, please. Some of the upcoming projects that we have in the next year and a half, and I'm only going to focus on ones that we have ready to award. We do have a Tesla Road guardrail project, roughly about $650,000, and that's shoulder backing and guardrail replacement. We have some rural road safety projects. What we're doing out in East County is putting in turnarounds for vehicles to pull off the roadway on a lot of those narrow roads that are out there, and it's provided quite a safety project for us. But we've been doing it on some of the roads, and we're doing it on some of the future roads out there. So about $1.5 million project going on in the probably next year and a half. We also have signalized projects that we're going to be doing out in East County. Some of the main intersections on Tesla and North Livermore. So those are some of the projects that we know we're going to be advertising in the East County in the next year, year and a half. We do typically do roadway resurfacing projects, usually about $3 million worth of roadway resurfacing. Roads we work on are Vasco, Patterson Pass, North Livermore, but we do about $3 million a year. We haven't advertised or got those projects ready yet, but we do put those out every year. Some past work we've done out in the East County are some bigger projects. We did the Vasco Road realignment, which is about a $20 million project. So there are times when we do a lot of major work out in East County on the roads. So I'll talk a little further about ways you can find out when those projects are coming out. But right now, these are the ones that we have in the next year and a half. I want to go to the next slide. Okay, so these are some other projects we have out in the area. Foothill Road storm drainage repair. During the last rains, we had some damage done. So that occurs out a lot in the East County where we have to do roadway repair. A lot of those projects come out very quick. So you need to really keep up on what's available, checking our website to see what comes out, because a lot of these projects do happen very quickly and we're able to advertise them using our consultants to get the projects up in record time. We have Calaveras Road rail failure, road fire damage. Calaveras Road during the fires we had last in the fall actually damaged a lot of our retaining walls that are in need of repair. So that project is coming out to bid as well. And we do have some culvert repair projects that we periodically do out in the area. We'll go on to the next slide. So flood control projects in District 1, those are all in the Fremont and Newark area. A lot of the main channels out there, we do a lot of silt removal, channel embankment repair, flood wall installation. Typically they're good size, but they're really focused on one or two trades, whereas the other ones have a little bit more. I'll go to the next slide. So some projects that we have actually getting ready to advertise in the next year, year and a half. The Laguna Creek project, that's more of a channel restoration, maintenance of repair of some maintenance roadway. That's about $8 million worth of work. It's a pretty substantial project for us, but that will be advertising probably in late summer. We do have the Mission Creek Crossing project. We do a lot of creek upgrades. We went through and did a drainage study analysis throughout the area, and there are a lot of our crossings that need upgrades. So we do have a lot of culvert projects that we do put out, and this is one that we intend to put out this year. And again, we probably put a couple a year. We put these out. So those are some work that we have. Let's see, Washington Creek restoration. That's the same as the first project. It's more of a restoration of the creek banks. Over time, the banks do erode, and we need to go in and do some repair. And those usually average from anywhere from $2 to $3 million, and this one came in at 1.5. So those are the projects we have. In the East County of District 1, we tend to work on all roadway projects. On the west portion of District 1, more focus is the flood control projects. We'll go to the next slide. So I'll talk a little bit about our construction compliance program. I know Joan had talked a little bit about the GSA's program. So, the whole part of our construction compliance program is to just encourage subcontracting opportunities for minority and woman-owned contractors. So it is a subcontracting program, and it's on all projects over 100,000. Our goals are 50% minority and 5% woman, unless it's a federally funded project. On federally funded projects, the goals are determined based on disadvantaged business enterprises, and the percentage in those are based on the type of work that you do to determine what the goals are. One thing I want to highlight here, though, is it's not just the subcontractor that can comply to your goals. You can use suppliers. Suppliers, you can only use 60% of the supplier, but it's a way to meet these goals. So you don't have to focus on subcontracting. You can look at suppliers as well, and trucking. Those are big ways that you can meet these goals. And they are achievable. but you just need to really be able to focus on how you're going to meet those. Go to the next please. So as I mentioned before, to stay up on what we have or get project updates from us, you can check the website. We continuously update the website and post projects as they come out. You can also outreach to our business outreach program with that email. We do have a consultant working for us who's very good on keeping up to date on the projects. They keep a list of all subcontractors available who perform different trades. So it's available to even primes and subs, and trying to find out, for the primes, trying to find out what subcontractors are available, and for the subs to see what projects are available. We do put out a lot of projects too that are small, under 100,000, that we do encourage small businesses to be part of. And those are under 100,000. We do put out quite a few a year, and we do really encourage small businesses to apply to those projects. So I think that's next slide. I think that's the end of my presentation.
Yeah, that is. Thank you so much, Bill. I appreciate it. Bernida, go ahead.
Yeah, there is a question for Doug. And thank you, Bill. That was very helpful. For Doug, for small contracts, $2,500 and up, where do we find an active list of said projects out for bid, and or how do contractors get on a list to become a preferred vendor?
So for contractor, I guess so. Can you read that? It was again, was it 2,500 and above?
For small contracts, $2,500 and up, where do we find an active list of said projects out for bid, and or how do contractors get on a list to become a preferred vendor?
Okay, so we typically will do most of our jobs through the job order contracting side. So those bids are done for the most part on an annual process to those primes. So those individual jobs, we will actually post for subcontracting opportunities. So that goes out through our Office of Acquisition Policy and through our procurement side, we'll send it out to post for those individual projects. Individual or smaller jobs, we definitely will notify out to a group of contractors that we've used through that are registered with the county. So we'll reach out directly to registered vendors directly on smaller jobs as well. So there's a number of different mechanisms. I would definitely say to reach out to me if you're interested, to find out some more information, and we can help you to get your way onto one of our lists so that we can notify you when there are jobs that come up.
Thank you, Doug.
Bernida, can I add, in Public Works, you can contact that email address of Business Outreach, any of the contractors who want to get on our list. You can get on a list for small or larger, it doesn't matter.
Thank you, Bill.
Great. Thank you both. At this juncture, we want to talk about just briefly the resources the county has made available to small contractors that really recognizes some of the challenges and barriers. You heard the supervisor acknowledge that it's not always easy doing business, really construction with any public agency, the county not being all that different in that regard because of all of the requirements and really just some of the systemic challenges that aren't specific to doing business with the county, but are specific to small contractors trying to participate in public construction. So Judy, if you can advance the slide, we're going to talk a little bit about what we call Ctap, the Contractor Technical Assistance Program, and first kind of underscore really why the county established this. As I said before, the county recognizes that there are institutional barriers such as bonding and other technical requirements that impede small contractors from accessing or successfully participating on public construction projects. So, when you recognize there are barriers, if you're willing to invest in reducing those barriers, then that's really evidence of a commitment to have an outcome of more small contractors participating. So the county is investing in resources to provide substantive support to the local small contractor community to remove these barriers that not only will support you in participating on county projects, but they're also designed to help you gain greater access to other opportunities that are occurring within the county. You know, we understand that when you're trying to build capacity, you don't want just a single source of potential contracts to pursue. The greater that pipeline of potential opportunity that you can access within your area will help you build capacity that much faster. So the county understands that and wants to provide you with the type of support that can help you, again, bid with county direct opportunities, but also to bid on work within the county, because that's how you get that multiplicative economic impact of hiring local and the local spending that occurs as a result of it. And then the county also understands something else the supervisor mentioned, that the more contractors who are able to compete on county projects overall brings their contracting costs down. We've been able to kind of illustrate that kind of as a microcosm of what happens when you reduce barriers. When you reduce barriers, more contractors participate. And when more participate, you bring your contracting costs down. So this would be really kind of a good governance program, that providing support for small contractors to help address the systemic barriers and to provide resources to help them directly bid on work and successfully complete that work is a benefit to the county in terms of more contractors, lower costs, but also having that regional impact of the county's dollars that get spent locally, generate more tax dollars and just benefit the county's community as a whole. Next slide, Judy, please. So just a little bit about us so that you know kind of why the county is working with us in particular to provide these resources. We've been involved in contractor assistance, contractor development programs throughout the state for the last 23 years. And in conjunction with that work, we've had the opportunity to see also what types of policies and contracting practices we've seen be most conducive for small contractors. So they give us an opportunity to share best practices we see with other programs and bring that additional information to the table. And then, you know, one of the measurements, how we've tracked the success of our programs is we've enabled contractors to bid on a little over $1 billion of public contracting work. That means we secured bid bonds that enable them to bid on that value of work. And the thing that we're really most pleased to be able to share is that in 23 years, out of $1 billion of bidding and a little over $350 million of awarded contracts, we've only had 2 contractors fail to complete their contracts. We have a default rate of less than 0.1%. And we think that tells a story. It tells a story that there are a lot of artificial barriers that prevent small contractors from participating and demonstrating what they're capable of, that when given an opportunity, small contractors recognize that they cannot fail, that they have to succeed, and they you know, bring whatever resources are necessary to ensure successful completion, because unlike larger contractors, smaller contractors know that a failure or two can be very damaging to their business. So we've seen that in practice when we've had over 1,000 contractors complete contracts, and yet only 2 of them failed to complete those contracts. Next slide, Judy. So Ctap, which was is actually a new branding for the program. It used to be the Contractor Bonding Assistance Program, but we changed the name to more fully reflect the broad range of technical assistance that's provided. Bonding is one element. Bonding is a big element because the individual factors that contribute to bonding, a contractor's financial position, for example, their experience, their resume of work, All of those are factors for bonding, but they're also factors for pre-qualifying with the prime contractor. So when we talk about bonding, it doesn't limit itself actually to when bonds are necessary. It's addressing all the factors of a contractor's business that help them be seen as qualified for a scope of work within a certain range. You'll find in some cases, for example, prime contractors won't require a sub to bond, but they want to know the sub can bond. So that's one of the services that, for example, is available to you under the resources of the program. And they do that because they want to know that the contractor has been vetted by a third party, being a bonding company. So the program has resources, including collateral support that we can pledge for contractors that really induces bonding companies to agree to bond a contractor who may not otherwise qualify for bonding. So when I say that the county is investing in resources, I mean that very literally, because the county will put up literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, 40% of the bond, or $750,000, whichever's less, to help a contractor qualify for bonds on county-specific projects. So the bond guarantees do only apply if it's a county-specific project. So this program's been in place for some time now. It's facilitated $175 million in awards to small contractors for projects within Alameda County. And as you're participating today, there have been a series of workshops and seminars, and we will continue to have those. Next slide, please. Here's what you can expect if you enroll in the county's program. It all starts with an assessment of where your business is currently. Obviously, to chart a course of where you're trying to get to, we have to first assess where you're starting from. So we do a very individualized, comprehensive assessment with you of the business. Then we create a work plan that's individualized for your business, where you have the greatest opportunities to make improvement that will change the paradigm for you in terms of your ability to qualify for bonding or pre-qualification, or just the benefit of having the business practicing the best practices known for contractors. So this is essentially one-on-one business development for you. I talked about the training and education. We cover such a range. Safety, we have an on-site construction safety team that does Cal OSHA 10, Cal OSHA 30. We've been doing a lot of COVID safety training. We can help you with insurance, obviously bonding. And then as you heard Joan talk about the project stabilization agreement, we can assist you in understanding the PLA or help you address issues that may arise with that. And then obviously we work with the prime contractors, because for many of you, your opportunities will be as subcontractors. And prime contractors want to work with small local contractors. Their concerns are generally around risk, because obviously as the prime, they are the ones responsible to the county for the entirety of their contract, including all their subs. So they work with us because they know contractors enrolled in the county's program are given resources, support, they can get bonding, there's risk mitigation there for them. So they often seek us out to identify particular subcontractors for scope of work that they have. And as I mentioned already, the program includes collateral support. Next slide, Judy. So we have 3 team members for the county's program. You see Bernida here, Judy Singharath, who's also here. Judy's doing a fantastic job, put this entire program together today. So we want to thank Judy for that. And then Carol Henry, one of the program managers. So there's really 3 team members, and I'm here as well, who are available to get you started, enroll you in the program, and provide you, again, a broad range of technical support to help you position yourself for some of the many opportunities that you've heard about today.
We have one more question from Mick Penn at Swinnerton about the SLEB program. And I'm going to ask Joan if she can talk about the SLEB program.
Sure. The SLEB, or Small Local Emerging Business Program, is a county-wide program that applies to goods and services. So any goods and services over 25,000 that are procured by any county department, there is a requirement that 20% of that contract value be subcontracted to certified slabs. Or if the prime is a slab, then obviously they wouldn't have to subcontract that out. I do want to say that the SLEB program does come into play on construction when we are using the design build project delivery method. The SLEB requirements of 20% to certified SLEB vendors is required for the design portion of a design build project. So just to clarify that.
Great, thank you, Joan. Thank you again for everyone's participation. I want to thank the county staff. You guys have been great to work with. Came prepared with really invaluable information. We hope the contractors and everyone else that was participating got the benefit of that. Thanks again for everyone's participation. We hope to see you enroll in the program. We're in a position to get you more resources and more information and help you make the right connections. And everyone have a great evening.